Today, House DFL leader Melissa Hortman said Democrats are considering not showing up for the first 2 weeks of session in hopes of blocking an attempt by Republicans to take control and elect a speaker amid a tiny and likely temporary majority. And here's how we got here. Back when votes were cast in November, the House appeared to be deadlocked in a 67-67 tie, which would mean that Democrats and Republicans would have to come to a power-sharing agreement. But in December, a judge ruled that one of the newly elected Democrats didn't live in his Roseville district, giving Republicans a 67-66 edge until a special election on January 28th. Now, Republicans have been clear that they intend to use that opening to elect a speaker and take control of committees while they can.
What the Republicans are engaged in is an illegitimate power grab, and we're not going to stand by and just let them do it.
At this point, there is no need for a power sharing agreement because there is not equal power in the state of Minnesota. There is 67 Republicans, 66 Democrats, and so we are working forward on that.
Now, the Democratic leader then made it clear that if there isn't a power sharing agreement in place, the House DFL will not show up until after that special election on the 28th, which would likely restore the even split. So obviously there's a lot to unpack here. We're going to try to do that with political analyst Brian McClung, political baggage expert, maybe?
Hopefully, right?
Yeah. What do we make of this tactic? First of all, it's to prevent a quorum, right? To stop the ability to even do anything in the House.
Democrats in Minnesota are saying if we don't have an arrangement with Republicans, we're not going to show up. And that is something we have seen in states like Indiana and Wisconsin, where lawmakers in those places have even left their own states to prevent things from happening.
Because in those states, you could be arrested.
Right, you could come back. Now that we don't have anything like that in Minnesota, lawmakers cannot be compelled to come to the Capitol. But I do think that Democrats are running a real risk of not showing up to do the jobs they were just elected to in November. And the Democrat leader, Melissa Hortman, indicated today they'd still take their salaries. So I do think that is a dangerous spot to be in, where you say, we don't like the way this is breaking. We're not going to show up, but we're still going to take our salaries and not be there to do the jobs we were elected to do.
Now, having said that, the Democrats say that there's obviously a lot of stake. This speakership would last for a couple of years, right? And we're really talking about a couple of weeks before an election's decided, and it's likely a tie again, right?
Yes, so and that's all very true. This 40B seat where the candidate was ruled ineligible because he didn't meet residency requirements is a very Democratic seat. So in all likelihood, Democrats would be back to 67-67, but that's not the way it is on the first day of session. So that's why this fight is occurring. And once a speaker would be elected and be in place, they would presumably be speaker for the full 2 years of the Minnesota legislative session. There's no mechanism for then undoing that. So that's why Democrats are putting up this fight. They don't want Republicans to have that organizational control, have the speaker's gavel, and determine how the committees are made up.
And meanwhile, nobody was talking about issues today, and presumably these parties, it's still going to be an even split. They got to work together. Do you have any faith anything's going to get done?
Well, I think what we saw in this election is that Minnesotans do want bipartisanship, and you can't get any more bipartisan than ending up in 67-67, which we will likely be back to in a few weeks. So they're going to require bipartisan votes to pass anything. You have to have 68 votes to pass a bill. You have to get the state budget done by June 30th. There's no way around that. There's no continuing resolution. And so they're going to have to find a way to agree on something at some point during the session.
You really think that's going to happen?
Well, there's no way around it. I mean, otherwise you end up in a state government shutdown, and I think the public starts to turn against that. So there are ways to get it done.
Yeah.
We have had divided government in Minnesota more often than not. In the last 30 years, we've had divided government for 26 years. So we have found a way to get it done. I hope they can do it again this year.
All right. Thanks a lot, as always, Brian. We will be watching, of course.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks.